What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some big news that came out involving Tesla, as we're seeing some new analysts coming out being very, very bullish. Not to mention some new developments on the economic calendar. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in just about 3 weeks from now. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So right now we're seeing a very, very nice move by Tesla. During the pre-market, we're pushing to this resistance at 360, just as we predicted in my video from yesterday. Now, there's a nice cup and handle-like structure that is also developing, and if we manage to break this resistance, we could see Tesla start to push all the way up towards 368, 370, and above if we break these areas. But we have to watch and see if this resistance breaks. So I'll talk more about that in just a couple of minutes. But let's first talk about this news right here. We had another analyst come out, and they're saying some very, very optimistic things about Tesla. This is Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas, who came out and he gave Tesla a market value of around $1.6 trillion if his bull case were to end up coming into fruition. So he's saying that if things do go as planned and they end up meeting their AI ambitions, he's going to be very, very bullish, at least for the short term. He also believes that they could be looking for some capital spending to increase by about $10 billion this year as a result of these new AI ventures. But despite that, he believes that's going to be a very, very nice investment, especially as they are doubling down on Dojo and they see the Tesla Optimus robot improve. So we're starting to see some nice improvements, at least from those analyst ratings. And we also had Bank of America Securities analyst John Murphy come out. He mentioned that the cyber cap could help Tesla reach $400 per share. Once again, more and more and more bullish news as many analysts are giving Tesla a lot more attention. So we're looking at a new price target of about $400 as we're seeing these new robots being developed and the cyber cab getting a lot more hype and exposure. And we're continuing to see this as we get very, very close to next year. No surprises whatsoever. We were talking about this for many, many months. Now, on top of this, there's been some more talk about how the Tesla-based plug, the J3400, will be the standard moving forward, according to what's going on right here. So we have the Federal Highway Administrator, Kristen White, who has come out, and they're saying that the J3400 plug is now going to be the new norm, and other companies are going to be adopting this at a faster rate. So this is going to be some very, very big news because it once again puts Tesla on top. One thing worth mentioning that I always talk about is how this is going to lead to a lot more demand, at least for Tesla supercharging stations. And I think that's with that coming out, Tesla has to be prepared for what's about to come. We're going to be likely seeing another expansion, the amount of these stations that are being built, and we're going to be looking for other improvements just like that. But this is a good piece of news. It gives Tesla a big edge over other EVs, and it gives Tesla a lot more capabilities when it comes to their energy business. People tend to forget about how big that is, and that's going to be very huge for them. Now, for today, I just wanted to call out that today is Thursday, December 5th, 2024. Just know this: we just had initial jobless claims come out. Everything's very close to expectations. Same thing with continuing jobless claims. Besides that, we just have a couple of bill auctions and a couple of Fed speakers, and there's nothing else that's too crazy for the rest of the day. However, the market's rallied really hard. We're now at new all-time highs, but watch the resistance because things are getting a little bit tougher. Besides that, there was some sad news for United Health because we did see them essentially lose their CEO. Not the best of news. Wish the best for the families involved and then everyone else that's going to be involved in the process of getting a new one. Besides that, Bitcoin has hit the $100,000 milestone. So I just wanted to say that right now the market's doing a good job at holding up, but watch resistance. Last thing I just want to say is that Dollar General and TD Bank and all these other companies had earnings. Dollar General did not do that great. We saw revenue being a nice beat at about 10.2 billion. Excuse me, 10.2 billion above expectations. And then we saw their EPS at about 89 cents below expectations of 94 cents. Their guidance was so. Despite that, the share price is kind of flat. So that's it for earnings. Now I just want to focus on the share prices. So Tesla got some good ratings from analysts, and we got some good news involving the charger. I think that this is a nice cup and handle like structure, and we're also forming a nice uptrend right over here. If Tesla breaks structure right over here, If we do get an initial dip, sometimes that does happen before it tries to break. But just know this, we have some tough resistance at 362. If we break that, we're going to be looking for 365 and 368 as our targets, if not well above that. And the 370s could easily be coming if we break out of this because this is a very, very strong looking structure. If we're bearish and Tesla ends up rejecting, make sure you look at support at 355. If that fails, let's look for 351, close to the 20 EMA. And then we have 347 below that. Looking at the cup and handle like structure, this chart does favor upside. Just know the resistance is going to be kind of tough up here at 362. So we'll have to see if Tesla could break that. And hopefully within the next day or two, we do see us break out and we see this trend end up breaking. So we'll see about that, but just know that this is a good sign for Tesla. For SPY, just know this SPY remains more bullish. We're on a very, very strong uptrend, but there is one problem. The resistance is very tough around 608. You guys can see that SPY is not just like, pushing through that very easily. It's getting tougher and tougher. So we'll see if SPY can break 608. If we break that, we're looking for 609 as our next potential targets, and then 610. I know that's a little bit trivial in a way because of the fact that it's like every dollar amount, but I have to do it that way when we break all-time highs. If we don't hold above 607.5, we're looking at the support at 606.5. If that fails us, there's going to be a big dip to about 605.25. So, in my opinion, we're at some tough resistance. We're going to be watching to see if SPY can break out here. There might be an attempt to get back up to this high, but we'll see if SPY gets a rejection or not. If we lose 607 flats and then 605, 606.5, yes, I will be a little bit more concerned about SPY. If we break the all-time high, we're going to remain bullish. But just know it's a very, very tough resistance, so be careful up here. And if SPY does end up losing support, there could be a small dip coming. So just keep that in mind. Those supports I called out, especially around 604, could be being tested. Now, ES hits 6,100, but we're struggling to break past that. We need to break 6,100 to remain bullish. If we can't do that, we're looking for the support around 60,080. If that does not hold, we're looking for a dip down to 60.73 and then all the way down to 60.50. So we'll see if we get a rejection on ES or not. It's a very tough resistance. We're shuffling near 6,100 so far, so be very mindful of that. For Nvidia, we pumped to 145 very, very nicely. We went a little bit higher during the pre-market, just kind of tapping 146. If the whole market does dip a bit, this could be dipping back down to about 144, then 142, very close to our 1520 EMAs. If we're bullish, we want to see it break past 146 to push for 148. We might shuffle around 146, and then there could be a dip coming if that fails us. So be careful. We're at some tough resistance on Nvidia as well. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is technically a little bit more bullish as we're trying to push right here. So I think that there is a lot more potential for this to continue to push. I think that there's a very, very good chance that this will maintain its structure, especially as Bitcoin is holding up. Let's see if we could hold above 100,000. As long as that holds, we're going to be completely fine. So I still favor a nice move, at least for this. Overall, not bad. I think that Bitcoin could be dipping closer to about this 102,000 area. We've been pushing very, very well. As long as 102,000 holds, this could continue to consolidate in this range and make its way higher. If 102,000 fails us, we could make our way back down to about 100,000. But overall, still very, very strong nonetheless. For NQ, we're more bullish right over here. We're going to be watching to see if we could hold above this support. We have basically 21,500 as our main support. If we hold that, we're going to be looking for 21,600. If it rejects here, we're looking for a dip back down to about 21,400, then 21,334. We'll have to see if we hold 21,500, so keep that in mind for NQ. The QQQ is very tough. It's been pushing very nicely, but just know this. There's also this tough resistance near 523. If we break 523, we're looking for the 524 to 525 area. We need to break through that to remain bullish. Otherwise, there's going to be a risk of us tipping closer to about the 520 area. So look at 523.5. If that breaks, we're looking for 525. If you reject, we're looking for 520.5 as our next potential target. For Apple's consolidating right here. We have 244 as tough resistance. We could push closer to that, but if we reject here, we're going to be dipping back down for about 242. So we'll have to see if 244 breaks or not. Otherwise, we could kind of just consolidate between 242 and 244 before we start dipping lower. So look for a 244 test, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're dipping a little bit. We're looking for 240 to be retested. Not doing the best of jobs at holding up. It's on a bit of a downtrend here. So look for 240. Can we hold above that or not? If not, there's going to be a risk of us dipping a little bit lower. For others out there, we happen to have, let me just double check this, Coinbase. Coinbase is gapped up very nicely thanks to Bitcoin surpassing 100,000. But watch 350. Can we break that or not? If we break down, we're looking for 355. If we end up losing 340, there's still a gap to fill back down to about 331. So keep that in mind. But this might be testing 350 for a little bit of a push. Amazon looks more bullish. We're going to be looking for an attempt to get up to 220. We'll have to see if we break that or not to remain bullish. If we can't break that, we could be dipping back down to about this 216 area. Meta is looking quite decent. We have this 615 area as our resistance. If we can't break through that, we're looking for a move back down to 612 and 608. Otherwise, it looks more bullish. So I think we might attempt to push for 618 to 620. I think it might push a little bit more, but then we'll see if we reject or not. Microsoft could try to test 440, and we'll see if we reject or not as well. And then Google could also get closer to about 176.5 if that breaks. 178 is on the table, but then be careful because that is going to be a tough resistance. Anyways, guys, that is it for my video. I know it was a lot I was going over. I'm very optimistic about Tesla with the good news, and we do look very bullish technically speaking, but we need to see if Tesla's going to break 562. If that breaks, there's going to be a nice breakout coming. So watch and see over the next couple of days if we get that move. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Have a good day and peace out.